Hello, it's that time again for the Just Eve show where you know what we do. We talk to someone who is an inspiration to the young ones, as well as sometimes we have celebrities on the show, but of course they have a lovely story to tell. My name is Evelyn Obaho. For the next couple of 26, 27 minutes or so, we'll be having a lot of fun on the show. My guest today is someone that is so inspirational to me. And I'll say it because what she does, you don't find many black women doing it. But I won't tell you who she is just yet. So I just want you to go grab a cup of tea, cup of coffee, a drink, whatever it is you want to take. Go quickly grab it. Then after the break, you come back, sit and enjoy with us. It's a Just Eve show. Don't go anywhere. You're welcome back to the Just Eve show. My guest today is a judge in the UK. Her name is Evis Adesanya, am I right? Akinsonya, yes. But you were saying that you prefer to be called?
I'm actually Judge Evis Samufonda.
Judge Evis Samufonda.
Yes.
Okay, so why the Samufonda? Why not the Akinsonya?
Because when I became a barrister, I was called to the bar by the name of Samufonda, and Samufonda is my maiden name. So you retain the name that you got called to the bar with. So I prefer to work as Evis Samufonda, although of course I have to acknowledge that I have a lovely husband and his surname is Akinsonya.
Okay, we're going to come back to talking about you being a judge. Let's go back to the beginning because I always like to start from the beginning with my guest. What was your growing up like? How was it for you?
It was really fascinating actually because I was actually born in Zimbabwe.
Okay.
And we came to this country when I was 9 years old.
So you're Zimbabwean?
I'm Zimbabwean by birth, yes. And we came to this country about 40 years ago, so. And back then, England...
40 or 14?
40 years ago.
40?
40, yes. 40.
Okay. I'm trying to calculate. How old were you when you came to this country?
I was 9.
9. You're kidding me.
No,
and
not
you
at all.
look this good.
Not
I'm
at
ashamed
all.
now.
Well, don't be.
I'm ashamed.
Don't
You know
be.
what? Someone offered me a cheesecake and I didn't say no. I happily ate it. Look at you.
Yeah.
That's another added
That's
inspiration.
another story. That's another story.
Okay, yeah, so go on.
Yeah, no, so I came to this country when I was 9 and a half, 10 years or so 10 years old or so. And back then, the UK was a very different country. Multiculturalism wasn't as it is today at all. And where we lived, we were the only black family in the neighbourhood. And I've got 3 sisters, and it was very difficult. It was very difficult.
So what made you come to the UK?
My father wanted to improve our life as much as possible, and he's always given us the ability and the belief that you can always do better. And so at that time in Zimbabwe, of course, we had the War of Freedom and independence. So there was turmoil in Zimbabwe, but more importantly, he wanted to give us a better lifestyle. So he chose to come to the UK.
Okay, so you were 9, so that obviously there are some things that you could remember. What was it like within your family community, having to be the only black family in that community?
As I said, I've got 3 sisters, and we're very close. And being the only black family, although it was difficult, my father instilled us in the self-belief, actually, that you are as good as everybody else, and that if you respect everyone, everyone should respect you back. So we grew up having that self-belief, and the love within our family was something that enabled us, I suppose, to cope with the difficulties that we experienced. So we made good friends. We were, what's the word I'm looking for? We were accepted, I think is the word I'm looking for. So we didn't feel our differences. It was only occasionally that we felt our differences. But it wasn't an everyday thing, but you were aware that there weren't other people around us that were like us. So, yeah.
And then compared to then and now, well, this is multicultural Britain, but a lot of people, well, this has been happening so often recently, people are talking about race so much, and I'm wondering, why has it come up again since it's multicultural Britain?
In what way? What do you mean?
Well, we have pictures on Facebook. Maybe it's because social media is very, common now, where you will have a white person being arrested alongside a black person, but the white person is treated, better. You're a judge. What do you think about such things?
Yeah, I think that although we have multiculturalism and race is not such a big issue anymore, there are still differences. And I think that what the difference between now and then is that it's recognized. And what we're trying to do is to address those differences. And so I think it has improved in that respect. Whereas before, the issues of race were not recognized. It wasn't seen as a problem. It was seen as okay to treat people less favorably because of their color.
Okay, let's fast forward to you, going to study law. Why did you want to do that, of all things in the world to study? Don't mind me, I'm saying that because I'm not very clever.
No, don't say that. That's absolutely not the right thing to say. But no, of all the things to choose in terms of law, I actually wanted to become an English teacher. That's what I wanted to be. But my father said to me that he'd always wanted to be a lawyer. That's what his dream was. And he actually studied law for a few years, but for various reasons, he gave that up. So he said to me, well, why can't you do law? And I thought,
African parent,
right? Exactly. And I thought, well, I suppose I could. So I went off to my English teacher, my career teacher rather, at school, because we had careers advisors. And I said to her, look, I want to do law, and I also want to be an English teacher. What do you think I should do? And she said, well, people in your shoes really should do what's safe. And I said, well,
what does that
mean? I said, well, there aren't any black lawyers anywhere in this country, so you could become a teacher because that would be safe for you. So I thought, oh, okay. So I went home and I said to Dad, I'm going to be an English teacher because that's safe. And he said, why do you want to do that? I said, well, because that's what my careers advisor said. That's the safe thing to do. So he said, but do you want to be a lawyer or not? I said, well, I'd like to be, but there aren't any black lawyers. So what's the point of doing that? And my father said, anyone can be whatever they want to be. And if you want to be a lawyer, then you will go and do law. And that's how I decided to become a lawyer.
And how did you find it? Well, of course, that's we're going back and forward. But how was it for you? Did you enjoy it, go through it, studying it?
Yeah, I did enjoy studying law. It was fun, but it was very, very hard work. And what I liked about it is it was very stretching. The hard work wasn't impossible, but it was rewarding. Studying law, you need to decide what you're going to be when you qualify, when you've got your degree. And I wasn't quite sure whether I wanted to be a barrister or a solicitor, because you may know in this country we have a system
where... What's the difference between them?
The difference between the two is that barristers are called advocates because they appear in court, although nowadays solicitors can also do that as well. But solicitors will be your comparison to general practitioners, and barristers will be your comparison to consultants, if you like. They're the specialists, because we specialise in specific areas of law. So that's really the basic difference. But that's more or less now, the fusion, as we call it, has been in discussion for a long time, and it may well be that in the future there won't be a difference.
I remember we were having a discussion about you as a judge, and someone brought some files to you. And wasn't expecting to see a black woman.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us that story.
Oh, wow, yeah. I mean, as you said in the introduction, back when I first started, you didn't have many black women in the law, let alone black judges. And there was an occasion a couple of years ago when I was sitting, and I was sitting with two other people on this particular panel. And I came into the courtroom and I sat in the centre because the other two people sit on either side of me. And somebody walked in and said, "Excuse me, that's where the judge sits." And the secretary who assists the court sits behind. So I said, "Oh, thank you."
You didn't tell him you?
No, I didn't. So he said, "Well, excuse me, the secretary sits behind." So I said, "Oh, yes, thank you for that information." And I left it at that. And he was really troubled by this. Anyway, at that point, the secretary came in and she said, "Good morning, Miss Samufonda, how are you?" I said, "I'm very well, thank you." She said, "I'm your secretary for today, so if there's anything I can do for you, just let me know."
Oh.
I looked at this guy and I thought, well, and he just pretended there was no problem at all.
Oh dear.
So, and that wasn't unusual in those days. It wasn't.
Have you had more cases like that?
Fortunately, not as overt as that. But you can still feel the difference that you are in a profession where, as you indicated earlier, there are many of us. But it is changing. It is changing.
Okay, we're going to go for a break right now. There's another side to you that I don't see how they reconcile. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to go for a break right now. I'll advise you not to go anywhere because you'd love to see what's going to happen after the break. We'll be back. You're welcome back to the Just Steve Show. If you're just joining us, I have as guest today a lovely lady, Evis Samufonda, who is a judge. There's another side to you, but I just quickly have to ask this question. Now, you are the one who will decide if someone goes to prison or not.
No, not quite.
Okay, explain it to me.
All right, okay. There are different areas of law, and my area of speciality is residential property disputes.
Okay.
So
how long have you been doing that?
Oh my goodness, 22 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 22 years.
Okay,
so.
but you still give a verdict. Is that it?
I make decisions because people come to the tribunal because they cannot agree. It's landlord and tenant disputes. And they have disputes maybe about service charges or about the rents, various disputes that relate to residential properties. So my role is to decide on those disputes and issue a decision or a determination.
Okay, let me create a scenario. Assuming now I'm a tenant, right? And for XYZ reason, I'm unable to pay my rent. And I'm served an eviction notice. I have nowhere to go, no family, nothing. I'm not qualified to receive state benefits.
Yeah.
And you have to make a decision because, yes, I haven't paid the rent. What kind of, would you go ahead and make that decision?
It's very difficult to deal with it on a scenario as such because those are the issues that go to a different tribunal. The tribunal that I deal with would be to determine what the level of rent should be in relation to the dispute that you have with your landlord.
Okay, so
So a scenario would be this, a very simple scenario would be where you are going to, you've decided you like a particular property and you want to rent it out. And the landlord said that should be £800 a month. And you think, wow, that's a bit much. You have a right to bring that concern to the tribunal that I work in. So you would bring your application and you would say, I don't think that that's a reasonable amount of rent to ask for. What do you think? And then we will use our expertise to hear both sides of the story or the dispute or the evidence, and then we will decide on the appropriate level of the rent. That's one scenario. And the most cases that we also get tend to be where properties have bought a flat, where people have bought a flat rather, and within that is a requirement to pay service charges.
Bought a flat?
Yeah.
And they have to pay service
charges because they've bought a lease. They haven't bought the freehold.
Okay.
So it's disputes that relate to the service charges or issues about the lease that we also determine. So the scenario that you were talking about earlier, those are issues that go to county court.
Okay.
I know it sounds really confusing,
Yeah.
but there are different judges that deal with different issues. But essentially, the tribunal that I work for, we deal with landlord and tenant disputes in relation to residential property.
Have you ever made a decision and later on you're like, oh, I shouldn't have made that decision?
No, I haven't.
Wow.
I haven't, because I think that what I try to do when I'm sitting as a judge is to do what I think is fair, what is relevant, what is right, and what's in accordance with the evidence that I've heard. So I'm very confident when I make decisions that the decisions I make are the right decisions. It's not always easy, but I think it's come with experience to come to that place, because I'm at the forefront of my mind is always the fact that I'm dealing with real people and their lives, and I have to respect that. Because I make the decision and I impose it on you, but you have to live with that decision. At the end of the day, you have to say, I might not like what Judge Samufonda has said, but I understand why she has said that, because I give reasons that explain fully the decision that I've made.
Okay, that's enough. My head, I'm already having headache. With all these expressions, I'm not very clever. Now let's get to the interesting bit. Now, you are a fitness instructor.
Yeah.
How did that come about? What? It's so miles apart.
It is miles apart, but it shouldn't be, because at the end of the day, we all have hobbies, don't we? I don't know if you have any hobbies, but most people have hobbies. And mine is fitness and health.
Okay, so how did that come about as a hobby?
That came about when my husband and I went on holiday a number of years ago, and I was looking at my holiday photos, and I was showing my daughter, and she said, "Mummy, were you expecting a baby?" I beg your pardon. She said, "Are you expecting a baby?"
Can I interrupt you there? There was this day I got on the tube. It was rush hour period.
Yeah.
And there were two ladies sitting down. You know, it was rush hour, so I was standing. And I was standing right in front of one lady. She was reading a paper. And then when she finished, she just jumped up. "Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't see you." And I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "What's she talking about?" She said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Come and sit down." And I was like, "She probably thinks I'm pregnant." So I said, "No, I'm fine." She said, "No." And the lady who was sitting next to her said, "Oh, we're so sorry. We didn't see you." And then I knew that, okay, there's something terribly wrong here with how I look. We have to do something about it. I had to interrupt you there to let you know. So I get the feeling when she says, "Are you expecting a baby?"
Yes, I'm glad you can relate to that, because it kind of like made me think, hang on a minute, something's not quite right here. Because I think deep down I wasn't terribly happy with the way I looked. But you know what, you just brush it to the back of your mind. But that observation made me think, I need to do something about this. And I was actually approaching my 40th birthday, and I always said that I didn't want to be fat and 40. Always used to say that I didn't want to be fat and 40. So for my birthday, my darling husband thought it'd be a really great present to buy me a set of personal training sessions with a personal trainer.
Oh.
I can't tell you what I said when I opened my birthday card. But I took up the sessions with the trainer, and I remember saying to this trainer that what I actually want is to be fit. Although I've got this issue about, being fat, my main concern was being fit and healthy, and I wanted to feel strong as well. So that's what I put to him, and over a course of sessions, he devised a plan for me, and I really, really enjoyed it.
And then you decided to take it up.
Yeah, it took a number of years, because over time I realized that the more I got into fitness, the stronger I felt, the happier I felt. And I didn't expect those benefits, to be honest with you, because there were added benefits to being well, and it was a feeling of wellness that I thought, I like this. I actually like this, and it wasn't a problem to, to get up and do the session. So from that, I thought I could do something about this. But then again, it didn't come about that easily either, as it never does with my life. But I think what led me to become a fitness instructor was the fact that a lot of my friends kept saying, wow, you're looking really good. You look well.
You do.
Thank you. Thank you
really
very
did.
much. Thank you. But it was, I think it was because I was happier and I was confident and I felt well within, and that generated, I think. So I wanted to share how I was feeling with others who were back at that stage that we've discussed, who probably have had people stand up for them on the train. So I thought, in order to do that properly, I wanted to become qualified, and that's how I became a fitness instructor. Yeah.
Okay. I'm the one who always gives my guests a challenge. So when I approached Evis, she said, okay, that we're going to reverse it. So this time, she is the one giving me the challenge. I have absolutely no clue what it is, but I know that I've started having palpitation because I know that I'm a very lazy person. I don't know how to keep fit at all, but I'm grateful that I have you to help me.
Yeah.
So what is it that you want to do with me?
Well, what I would want to do with you, because I think you've told me what your fitness goals were, but maybe you can reiterate what it is that you wanted to do. What is it that you're looking for?
What I'm looking for, I'm actually getting to that golden age. I think I'm the unhealthiest person around. I don't really eat that much, but I do have a sweet tooth. I just told you about.
You just told us about the cheesecake, didn't you?
The cheesecake that I couldn't resist. And like we all know now, I have a big tummy, as they thought I was pregnant as well. Yeah. So I would love to get rid of that. Right. Yeah, I would.
Okay. Okay, well, that gives me a number of clues, because I think that we all have sections of our bodies that we're not happy with. And specifically, when you try to spot train an area of the body, that doesn't really help because it's not possible. But what you need to do is look at doing something that will train the whole body. But in terms of identifying what you like, we would have talked about the kind of things that you like doing and don't like doing. And I've come up with an exercise, having spoken to you before, that I know that you're going to like, because you're a fun-loving person. And so that's at the forefront of my mind, because at the end of the day, if I give you something that you absolutely hate, or suggest something that you absolutely hate, you're not going to do it, are you?
No, I'm not going to do it, even if I like it. If it's going to drill me.
Yeah.
But it's you, because I like you. I'll do it.
Exactly. And I think also we have to think about long term, because at the end of the day, if you have a concern about your health and you want to change it, it's not overnight. Because at the end of the day, our tummies didn't grow overnight. It will take time. So what would be the best thing to do, and what I would suggest, is that you do take up a program that involves doing things that you enjoy, so that it doesn't become a chore, and you're not being drilled or forced to do something you don't like.
Okay.
Yeah. So, shall we see?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll take a break right now, and we'll be back, and you'll see what we're going to do.
Okay.
Okay, welcome back from the break. Evis, what do you have to do what do you have for me?
Right. I have a lovely surprise for you, which is in this bag, and I bet you cannot guess what I have in here. Not at all.
No.
Not at all. Well, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get changed. Okay. And then we're going to put together what's in this bag, and we're going to have some fun, because I've heard what you've said about trying to get fitter, and there are means and ways you can do that, and we're going to share with the viewers what's in here.
Okay, let's go get changed.
Let's go get changed.
Let's go get changed.
So, guess what I brought with me today? Can you guess what it is? Yeah? No. One of my my passions in life, as we've been talking about, is the fact that I love fitness. But I think that what I try and do is identify fun ways to keep fit. Because if it's not fun, as I said before, you're not likely to do it. And I have discovered one of the best ways to keep fit is it works the whole body, but at the same time, it actually works the abdominal areas, which is what you said to me earlier, is what you're really worried about. And if I bring out piece by piece, you can hold. You probably haven't done this for a long time. Are you getting it? No. The great thing about this equipment is that you can see it's portable, so you can take it anywhere, which is really good. And you can do it.
What's it called?
Well, keep guessing if you can. Any clue again?
No.
Okay. I'll take you out of your misery shortly. But there are 8 pieces altogether. Okay? And you probably did this as a child and haven't done it as a grown-up. That's the last piece. Yeah? Okay, I'll help you out. I'll help you out. This. Oh! Yes, do you remember? Do you remember? It's easy to do. Just there's a little button, just push it through. That's it. It clicks. Oh, yeah. Excellent. Excellent. So let's go in the last one. Good. Yeah. There you go. Now, there's been recent studies carried out demonstrating that movement is one of the best ways to get fit. It really, really is. And it's fun, and you can do it at home, you can do it in the garden, you can do it in the park. But this, if you feel it, is a way to do it. And the beauty of it is designed with adults in mind. And I do this regularly. I also have a class that I do where I live, where I teach people how to exercise using movement. So what I would like to do is to see if I can teach you how to do it. Is that all right?
That's all right.
Yeah. Okay then, so you like to stand over here. As I said, this is really good for working the abdominals. Really good for the glutes, for the legs as well, and for your back. So, I can show you what you do is you stand upright, one foot in front of the other, and you push the leg to the side and extend your foot. Okay, so I've got my left leg forward, so I'm going to push my heel to the left. If I have my right leg forward, I will push it to the right. But the beauty is to keep the hip up, I have to use my fingers. So you do have a six-pack under there. Okay, and using this, we'll bring that up. Yeah? Okay, so I give it a go first.
Yeah.
Okay. Because my core muscles are quite strong, I don't have to move very much.
I'm going to be clumsy.
You are not going to be clumsy doing this. There is not one person I've met yet that I'm not going to teach. You'd be the first. And it's not going to happen today, okay? So, okay, that's
So you have to change the legs, yeah?
Yeah. It's just easier on your back to do that.
Yeah? Please don't do that first.
You want to laugh at you. You're in the next section.
Look up in this way.
Yeah. Alright, so make sure you have enough room that you don't hit anything. That's it.
Okay. And so
what have you got? You've got your leg forward, push it to the right. Or you might start with your left and push it to your left. But you need to pull your tummy muscles in. Push it hard.
I told you
This.
Oh no.
Alright. And pull hard. 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 There you go. Should we try again?
I'm embarrassed myself.
Not at all. Not at all. Everybody starts somewhere. And with practice, you will be able to do it. Absolutely. So just try one more time, and then we'll try it the other way. So again, pushing hard, push.
Okay, we're going to go now. We're going now. I'm not going to let you see me embarrass myself anymore. We'll do that next time, just to show. I hope we can probably do this again sometime soon.
Okay. There you go. You did it. With more practice, try again. Give it a good push. There you go. Keep going. There you go.
I'm not doing this thing, but you have to make sure that I do it like that.
You have to try it that way. Because one side is usually stronger than the other, so try pushing it that way. And just move backwards and forwards. Push hard. It's me. Hold on, let me teach you. Right. Keep it in the small of your back. And give it one strong push to make sure it maintains upright. Don't do this. Up that way. Up. Good strong push. Okay? And one side will be stronger than the other. So we'll try both sides. But the beauty of it is you can burn 7 calories a minute doing this. So it's really worthwhile continuing, because if you do 30 minutes of exercise, you just imagine how many calories you're going to burn 200 calories just from doing this. Is it lovely? Give it a strong push. Keep your lower back. Give it a strong push. There you go. You just leave the chair.
Oh, God.
So one
I've
side,
never seen someone.
one side is stronger than the other. Keep it pushing hard this way. There you go.
But why does it keep going down?
Because you've got to use your stomach muscles, tighten your stomach muscles to keep it up. And there you go.
Oh, anyway, I'm going to get it, don't worry. And I'm sure if you want to have a flat tummy like Evis has, we will do this together. My name remains Evelyn Obaho. I'm sure we'll do this again sometime soon. Take care. Goodbye and God bless.